Past couple of weeks have been a shocker for both Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong when it comes to South Pacific diplomacy. First, the PM went to Vanuatu trumpeting a security deal, and it fell over because they're keen to keep channels open with China. And this week he went to PNG to sign a defence treaty. Now that's stalled, and they're also talking with China. I asked Australia's longest-serving Foreign Minister Alexander Downer for his assessment of these events.
Well, it's obviously a matter of deep embarrassment for Australia, because in both cases the government was right. These are sensible things to do with Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea. But I can tell you from a lot of experience, it's not easy to pull off something like that. And they need to invest much more time in personal diplomacy with Pacific leaders than they have done. I mean, they're very happy to talk about Palestine and have the occasional contact with the leader of the so-called Palestinian Authority. But they shouldn't be worrying about that, because they can't have any impact on that. They need to invest their time in the Pacific, and they just haven't done the homework. That's the problem.
Well, it's not only solving the Middle East, they also want to save the planet. They're putting all their effort into these big things they actually can't influence, but they can't get a defence treaty right with Papua New Guinea. Now, Michael Shoebridge said to us last night it was the wrong timing to try to strike that deal because Papua New Guinea is celebrating its independence. Why would you try and muddy that with a defence treaty that some see as undermining its independence? What's your thought on that criticism?
Well, it's a good point. I'm not sure about undermining their independence, but you need to socialise that kind of dramatic treaty with the political class and with the elites in Papua New Guinea. Whereas, I mean, I don't know why it is that the Labor Party, always in opposition, talks about the importance of transparency, and when they're in government, they always like to keep everything secret. I mean, you need to socialise these things, talk to people about it. So Michael Shoebridge is right. The timing is wrong, and no socialisation done at all, and they don't know the people well enough because they're concentrating on Palestine and, you know, changing the weather system.
Here's what Anthony Albanese said about it in Papua New Guinea yesterday.
Processes are important and sovereignty is important, and we respect it. And Papua New Guinea will go through its cabinet processes, but we have been agreed on the words in this treaty.
And all along, the not-so-invisible hand of China might be playing around in this. But I've seen some political reporting and commentary that suggests this is a bit of a stumble, this is a hiccup. I mean, this is a massive embarrassment for Australia's diplomacy, surely. And when you look at what else has been going on when it comes to the Victorian Premier in China, Anthony Albanese's kowtowing to China, his difficulty in getting meetings with Donald Trump, how would you characterise the foreign policy success or otherwise of both Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong so far?
Well, it's let's face it, first and foremost, it's chaotic. To have mishandled these relations with the Pacific is hugely embarrassing for Australia. This is a part of the world where we have not just a very heavy responsibility, but we have substantial soft and hard power. I mean, you know, we're irrelevant to the Palestinians except for propaganda purposes, and they very successfully used Australia. Hamas have used Australia to advance their propaganda. But when it comes to the Pacific, we really matter. And we've just embarrassed ourselves. So really, it's humiliating. Maybe Papua New Guinea will sign off on this treaty in the end, and I hope they do. I hope that China doesn't have the capacity to veto it. But let's be honest, we should be able to outmaneuver China in the South Pacific, particularly in relation to Papua New Guinea, which, after all, as you say, was once an Australian colony. We should be able to outmaneuver China there pretty easily. But this has been very poorly handled. And beyond that, it's hard to know what the government has ever done in its 3.5 years in power.
Let's go further afield and look at the pomp and circumstance that unfolded at Windsor Castle overnight. And Prince Charles, he's king now, of course, King Charles III.
He's your king.
He is my king.
Your king.
Thanks for reminding me. My King Charles III had this to say about AUKUS.
Tyranny once again threatens Europe. We and our allies stand together in support of Ukraine to deter aggression and secure peace. And our AUKUS submarine partnership with Australia sets the benchmark for innovative and vital collaboration.
Well, Anthony Albanese hasn't been able to spruik AUKUS face-to-face with Donald Trump, so it was a good job the King did it.
Well, he's our head of state, so he's more senior than Albanese, and he's done the right thing. But seriously, he's done the right thing.
Yep.
It's tremendously helpful to us. Let's not underestimate this. It's tremendously helpful to us that the King should have made those remarks in front of President Trump. It makes it very, very difficult for President Trump to walk back from AUKUS. Not that I think for a moment he wants to. I don't think that's his intention. But in any case, the King having included that reference to AUKUS is hugely helpful to us, and much more important than anything Anthony Albanese has been able to do. So thank goodness we have a king. So thank goodness we have a king, not just a Prime Minister.
OK, we'll continue that debate another time.
I'm winding you up.
No, you are indeed. You are indeed. But on this occasion, our King has done a good thing for Australia. We'll see who he barracks for in the Ashes. Thanks for joining us, Alexander.
A pleasure.
As you might imagine, Alexander and I have debated the Republic versus the monarchy over a beer many, many times over the years.